What's up, guys? Ben here bringing another video today. Slightly different angle, by the way. I've swapped monitors. That's why it's anyway, fun video today, I guess. Fun, interesting, sad. I don't know. A lot of range of emotions on this one. Let's talk about the issue with the CDL rules, private matches, and what we have in the weeks ahead, which is not looking particularly great. So as y'all know, for the last couple of days, teams were unable to scrim in private matches for a number of reasons. And this is after the Warzone 2 update. Part one is that the CDL settings, if you go in the game, are not there. So when you launch up a private game, try and create one at the top, you can switch between standard modes and CDL modes. Right now, there's no CDL modes there. On top of that, the social tab was broken for a while, so you couldn't even get in private matches. That's fixed now. Part of the problem is, though, when you're in private matches, is very often people get scanned or like dev errors. So taking scrims like takes a while anyway, even if you can get in a private match. So all of this is preventing teams from scrimming. And I'm recording this Sunday morning, so for about 4 days, teams were unable to scrim. And then yesterday afternoon, I was at a party when this happened, and we all kind of had some interesting reactions in real life when we saw this. Envoy hit this tweet, I assume, after being briefed by CDL player relations, and it reads, finally scrimming after 4 days. CDL rules won't be back till after matches start. That means control won't give extra times per tick, and we have to use ultimate perks after not for the first couple of weeks. New spawns as well, and a little bit of a salute emoji. So a couple things to unpack here. One, it does not look like the developer is going to fix the CDL rules private match issue until after December 2nd and 3rd. Second, right now in control, when you get a tick, you get extra time. And this is a thing over the last couple of years that's been added to really improve the playability in control. But it's not in the default rules. So we're going to go back to pub rules and control, which I think is going to really hurt the offensive ability on these maps. Then on the ultimate perk front, so if you've played this game, you know that there are levels of perks. The last level of perks where you'd get things like overclock, that is not available in CDL rules. You only get the first 2 tiers of perks. So now that's completely in play for the pros. Since the update came out this week, spawns have been a little bit funky, and apparently there might be some new spawns in pubs. I haven't really dived into those last cents as well, but tough for pros that they're gonna have to tweak and deal with new spawns after playing on a set for a couple of weeks. So a lot to unpack here, and I think for the next portion of this video, I've seen a lot of blame going along. I want to break down sort of the different stakeholders, constituents to this whole conversation, like who actually has power to make changes and not, and then let's talk about kind of next steps after. All right, so I think I'm going to kind of use this tweet thread that Clay put out last night. There's a couple of responses in it too we'll go through, but I think this really sums up on the player angle, which is sort of the bottom of the triangle. There's sort of us and also the CDL players, amateur players, and like our ability to actually do anything in this situation. So for the CDL pros, which of those 3 parties has the most close contact to developers, at the end of the day though, they're not on the development team, right? They don't work for Infinity Ward, they don't work for Treyarch, etc., etc. They speak with middlemen, at least through the CDL, and sometimes they can speak directly to developers, but at the end of the day, they're not the ones making that decision. The only thing that they have that is maybe useful in a situation like this is a platform and social reach and engagement to really start a campaign of momentum around these things. But beyond that, like they can't go to the devs and be like, fix this. The developers really won't care. And again, Clay kind of responded, Davis sort of here, you know, sort of trying to sympathize. And Clay basically made the point of like, you know, they'll fix it, but you know, there are other systemic issues here. We talk about like red dots on the map, dead silence, like the players don't have the influence to get those things adjusted. I think next up on that pyramid would be the owner. So we're talking purely on sort of the civilian, I use that term kind of lightly, sort of the non-Activision side of things. At the top would be the owners. Clay kind of makes the point in sort of his response here that he thinks the 12 owners are probably the only people that have the power to do it. And I think I see where he's coming from. There's a couple of things here. One is you have owners that are definitely friends of Bobby Kotick and very senior members of Activision staff. So they have the direct line if they really want to escalate that and use that political capital. But more so, they're meeting with senior league executives and other folks through the league meeting chain. And I think if those owners were to collectively go to the league and see if they can apply some pressure collectively, that might move the needle somewhat. Although I thought Mud Dog's response here is actually like a pretty good point on this one. At the end of the day, this is really all on the developers on that front. Owners have power, they have influence, they have money. They could probably do this campaign probably a little bit easier than the players and do a little bit more back channeling through those channels. But at the end of the day, they're not also on the development team, so they can't really do anything either. And I think until we get to developers, like the final tier is people at Activision. So we're talking about like people on the CDL side, people on sort of the business unit that operates Call of Duty. I think in those 2 parties on the CDL side, listen, I don't think for some of the stuff I've seen on Twitter in the last like 8 to 10 hours of people tweeting at like Spencer and Daniel, like I don't think that's really going to help the issue. Again, they're also detached in the development cycle. I'm sure all the people at CDL are just as pissed as y'all are that these things are not working because it's negative press for them. It doesn't make their tools work. A bunch of other stuff that really complicates like running a league, getting this thing to go on time. We obviously saw the Challengers Cup got delayed. Like all this has knocked on effects of CDL, and they're, insulated a layer away from that, entity that operates like the studios and sort of all the operations around the Call of Duty universe. So it's tougher for the CDL folks. For me, I think where the people that can really make this happen are sort of in that sphere of people around the development team, either on Infinity Ward or in that business unit, that can really put pressure to see if there are resources, people, time, man hours to try and speed this process up. Look, understand things break, patches got to get rolled out, QA, all that stuff. But I feel for everyone on the CDL side, in which we feel like we're at the bottom of that totem pole with no communication, no visibility, don't feel like we have any priority on getting stuff fixed. And this is critical, this entire ecosystem functioning. And it's not just for pros, it's for amateurs. Private lobbies are not working. Rules are changing. Can't use CDL rules. Like, it affects everything. It affects team battles, tournaments. A lot of things go wrong with this. So I think we're all hoping for fixes sooner rather than later to improve everyone's life. So that's really it, guys. A little bit of a rant on my end. I just kind of want to get these thoughts off my chest. I think we'll probably have more coverage on this sort of probably going down the line next week. I'm hoping really we get some communication from Infinity Ward or like an official statement from the league in terms of communication with the developers on the ETA time of this. It really messes up the Major 1 cycle. Every CDL point is important, and it would really suck. It's affected a team's ability to get to champs. So let me know in the comments what you all think about this issue. Like if you enjoyed the content, subscribe for more. I'm really excited. The season is starting soon, although maybe it seems like a little bumpy right now, but we'll make it through. And as always, guys, we'll see you on the next video.